everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Today is February 6th, 2021. What I want to do today is I had said that I had vlogged a little bit in the hospital when I had the Rona and I was in there, and I want to explain why I recorded first, and maybe instead of, because when I vlogged, I vlogged the second day in the emergency room, and then I vlogged the last day. I didn't vlog in between. I didn't do any of that. And I want to explain why I did it in the emergency room, and again, why I picked it up at the very last day. It dawned on me to do it. But I did not vlog anywhere in between those two periods. Nothing. But so I thought what I would do for the clips that I will be sharing is, if there is something that I think maybe would confuse you, because like I said, I wasn't really vlogging to put it on YouTube, even though a lot of times I would say you guys or things like that. And it's because I think I'm so used to that vlogging, for YouTube, and not vlogging for me, for just to have it for me. So a lot of times I would catch myself doing that, and then I would think about it, be like, no, but yeah. So what I plan to do is sort of, if there's something that I think you would be confused about or needs an explanation, then you're going to see me. I'm going to pop in, and as we go along through the vlog. So I think this is easier, instead of me having to constantly type in notes as to explain it. This is why I'm doing it this way. So the reason why I vlogged in the ER was primarily, which, like I said in another video, I don't even know how I did it. Like, I don't even know. Seriously, I just crazy to me. But was because there was an issue with one of the doctor and my registered nurse, the one that took care of me. Now, she was the main one. And I had a room in the ER, and you could see the main part of the ER from my room. So I had like a glass part, the top part of the door was glass, and then a glass window. So I could not lay down, so I was sitting up, so I could see a lot of what was going on out there. So, but I could not hear. Okay, I could not hear. What I do know is there was an issue with the doctor and with me and with the registered nurse. The issue was that on the second day, when he came basically to go around to see the patients, he found out that I did not receive the antiviral medication, okay? And he was mad that they hadn't given it to me. That was what was going on. Now, I didn't know this until after, but this is what I recorded, because what happened was they were arguing, and you could tell they were arguing. I couldn't hear any yelling. I couldn't hear the conversation when it first started happening. But I just know that my registered nurse, the nurse that took care of me, had paper in her hand, and she would point to my room, and she would point to my room over and over, and she was like moving the paper, and you could tell he was like throwing his hands up, and he was pointing at her, and they were going at it. And so I started recording, because I'm trying so hard, because I knew it was about me, because they were pointing in my room. And I was like, oh my God, I'm looking at this going, what was going on? And so I tried at first to text my son, but it was so hard to text. I could not, my hands would shake, and I was so weak. So I don't know why I just picked up the thing and I just started sort of documenting it. But what ended up happening was they did not give me the antiviral on the first day that I was there, and the doctor was mad. And the nurse was like, well, it's your responsibility, basically. And I knew this, and I'll tell you how I knew this. But basically, he was saying in a nutshell, it is your responsibility to go in there and tell her about it, and also about all the ramifications with this medication. That's your job. And that's what they were going back and forth. So what ended up happening was he was really ticked off, the doctor. He ended up coming into my room. Now, mind you, he did not scrub up. He went in there with no mask, just his scrubs and the bonnet that they wear. But he did stay away from me, like 6 feet away, more than 6 feet. And he was, you could tell he was upset, not at me, but you could tell. And like I said, I was oblivious. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew there was some conflict. He came into my room and he says, there is an antiviral medication that seems very, very promising. He says, and it seems to be working with Rona patients. He says, okay. And I went, okay. And he left. And the nurse, I'm assuming at this point that the nurse was like, you did not talk to her about, and they went at it again. They went at it again and again and again. Okay, so basically what ended up happening was the register nurse that was shadowing the main nurse, because it was her first day on the job. So I had two nurses basically, and she came into my room and she says, I need to ask you, first of all, she said, I want to apologize. You should not be going through this. You should, I'm so sorry. And I'm looking at her like I had no idea what's going on. She asked me what the doctor said, and she says, take your time, just, and I said that I'm going to be given an antiviral, that it seemed promising. And he said, okay. And I said, okay. She goes, I thought so. And that's when, and I had told this story a little bit in my experience with this Rona video. But anyway, she gave me a paper, 2 pages. It was 2 pages of side effects and things that can go wrong and blah, 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 blah. And it was 2 pages, and I had to read that before I gave my final answer. She says this was his job. This was his responsibility. And this is why there was a commotion. She says, but I'm really, really sorry. And then that's when she called my son, because at that point, after reading it, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. So she called my son, and then that's when I agreed to do it. So that's why initially I ended up recording in the ER, because I wanted to send it to my son, but you couldn't hear anything. So I ended up vlogging a little bit, but I don't know how I did it. I really, really don't. So that's that. I'm in the hospital. Lights are off in my room because the lights bother me. I haven't got my room yet. I'm still in the emergency room. This is day 2. It's hard to talk. Doctor. Doctor and my nurse got into a big fight. She's really mad at her. They were supposed to have given me some medication, and I haven't received it. As soon as I tested positive, she's going to be coming in here right now to give me the antiviral medication. The respiratory therapist is coming, giving me treatments. Humidifier in my room. Oh. Today's Monday, I think 7th Monday. I'm going home today. I've been here since last Saturday. I think it was 3.5 days in the ER till I got blessed to have my own room. I don't share a room with anybody. I have my own TV, my own private bathroom. I have windows I know they're closed. Today is cloudy and ugly, but the sun would come in and I would get hit with the sun just right on my face. And nurses told me that I'm the only one who has this room. Nobody gets the sun like me. Got up and went to the bathroom right now, and then I do my laps in my room. I have to lay on my stomach, but not right now. I do that. You lay on your tummy, you flatten out the lungs, and you let the lungs expand. But it gets very, very uncomfortable, but I did it. I did everything they told me to do. This has been one of the hardest experiences in my life. Saturday when I came in, not this past Saturday, today's Monday. Last Saturday I came by ambulance. I was scared. This has made me reflect more than anything in my life, I think. Because I couldn't breathe. I had nothing to inhale. And every time they would take me off this oxygen, just to see where my body would react, it would plummet. They said they were going to intubate me. But they were giving me some hard treatments, and yeah. Anyway, my lips are really dry. They cracked. What time is it? 11:25. There's no more room to pick my finger for glucose. There's no more. I said, just take your pick. I don't have any more. It's all raw. Look at all that. I know you can't tell, but it's all raw. My stomach, because they give you these injections for anti-clotting. My stomach is purple. You saw the bruising that I had in my abdomen area, my pelvic area, and that is because they were giving me anti-clotting medications, and they would give me a shot. Now, excuse me, why do I want to think it was twice a day, like every 12 hours? They were giving me one, or it could have been one time a day. I'm not sure. Maybe one time a day. Anyways, days after, when I got home, I knew I was really, really bad from the bruising, and I felt a lot of lumps, because what happens with this particular medication, that if you touch the area, it will clump up, and so they tell you don't touch it, don't, whatever, which I didn't. But when they would put the underwear, I was wearing the hospital underwear. When they would pull it up, they would let go and it would snap on me, and sometimes I would be like, oh. But anyway, I was feeling a lot of discomfort in my pelvic area, and I thought that there was something wrong with me at first. But reality, it was the bruising that was causing pain, and the inner bruising. It was not the outer bruising, but the inner bruising. But yeah, that was pretty bad. It was pretty intense. They were pretty painful. Some nurses knew how to really give it where it was the least amount of pain, but some of them really just went in there. But those were painful, and there's a lot of bloating in those pictures. A lot of bloating, a lot of bruising, but tremendous amount of bloat. And in fact, when I wanted to wear my jeans, I couldn't even, it hurt to zip them, and it hurt to button them up, to be honest. First of all, they didn't fit, and then the tightness sort of irritated the internal bruising. But yeah. My husband's coming right now to drop off my clothes, but he has to leave. There's no point in him sitting in a car waiting for the official release. He's just bringing my clothes. He can't come up just drops him off in the lobby, and then they're gonna bring him here. I am very scared. I'm not gonna lie. I think if I wasn't gonna go home with any oxygen, I'd be worse. Thing about the oxygen situation was that the doctor really did not want to release me from the hospital. She felt like my lungs were still definitely on the mends. I was definitely on the mends, but they were still too. I still had pneumonia. She released me from the hospital in the condition that I had my oxygen. So there was a problem a little bit during the day. I found out around 11 o'clock on Monday that I was going to be released. And then during the day, around 2 o'clock, I believe it was around 2 o'clock, my nurse came in and she says, we're having a problem with the oxygen. And if I can't get it resolved, she says, you're not going to be able to go home today, because that was the only stipulation the doctor wanted you to go. So I'm trying really, really hard to get it resolved. She says, and this was the oxygen that was supposed to be delivered to my house, not the one that was going to be with me in the car, but the one that was going to be delivered. There was a problem with it. But anyway, she figured it out, and I was able to be released with my oxygen. I close my eyes to go to sleep, and I go back to that night, that Saturday, where I couldn't breathe, and I start crying and crying. I'll get through it though, because God was good. God saved me. And my mom's in the hospital, but she's doing good. She's in intensive care, but they're keeping me posted with my mom too. She's gonna be there for a little bit more longer than me. She's older. 3:15. I'm still here, but let me show you. My oxygen tanks came in, so I have two oxygen tanks. I think she hasn't quite come in here to explain the whole situation. I don't know what all I've said, but I managed to sleep a little bit, which was nice, really nice. I hadn't been able to sleep. I'm worried about going home. I don't even know if I've told you that, but I'm worried about going home. I am. My nose is really, really dry. This really dries out your nostrils. I still have all the hookups, chest hookups. Still gotta take it all off. I got another antibiotic. I think it's almost over. It's halfway. I don't know if they're gonna make me wait to finish it. I'm not sure. Well, getting ready to go. It's 4:30. 4:30. I just sweater, my Levi's shirt. I'm gonna go home, take a straight shower, even though I cleaned myself as much as I could here. But I want to shower. While I was getting dressed, I felt faint because I didn't have my oxygen. So I'm a little worried, but I know I keep saying that. But it's normal. The nurses have told me up and down, it is normal when you go through something traumatic like that. It is normal. It takes time. And they were like, don't be hard on yourself. This is going to be gross, but I knew I had peed myself in the emergency room, because in the emergency room, when they took my oxygen off to see my saturations and see how I was, I couldn't breathe. But I didn't realize that I soiled myself as well. I didn't know that. The first time right now, I just pulled my clothes that I came in with in the emergency room, and They're all soiled. I didn't know that. I thought I just peed. But from thrashing and not being able to breathe, I soiled myself. One of the things that was a little confusing for me until I really started thinking about it is when I actually soiled myself and when I urinated on myself, to be honest. I remember in the ambulance that they took the oxygen off of me, and I mentioned that before, and my oxygen levels were just dumping, and so they bagged me, and I thrashed. I thrashed for a time, not like constant thrashing, but it was like a moment where I was thrashing. And I remember in there that I felt like after I was settled down that I did urinate myself. So in the emergency room, they also removed the oxygen. The doctor was standing there and he told the nurse, please remove her oxygen. And they were plummeting in the emergency room the first night. So, or the first day I was in the ER. So I can't be like 100% sure in what period I actually soiled myself. It was the one in the ambulance or the one in the emergency room, because when they took my pants off, like I couldn't take off my pants, so they had to do it for me. They took out my underwear and then they put those in a bag and then they put some underwear on me. Um, I didn't see that I soiled. I knew I urinated on myself, but I did not see the soiling. So I don't know if it was in the ER or in the ambulance. It could have been in either one of those two times, but it definitely, because I also thrashed in the first day in the and it's just it's a thrashing motion because you're trying to breathe, and you can't, and so your body goes into like panic mode, you know what I mean? So it could have been in either one, but I did say it was in the ER, but I'm not sure. Could have been in the ambulance too. When I saw that, I didn't realize that, and I freaked out right now. Started crying because I realized it really was, it was bad. I knew it was bad. Anyway, I'm just waiting for my meds to be filled. They said around 5:40. I'm sorry, 4:40. So that means my husband should leave at 4:40, and then everything should coincide. I don't know how I feel right now. I feel safe here. They watch me in the middle of the night. They come. I mean, yeah, they poke me like 10 million times in the night. My nail, so many pricks. I take my blood pressure every hour, seems like. Temperature. But I feel safe. I know when I see my stairs, I'm gonna freak out because I attempted to walk upstairs. I didn't even make the two steps when I lost it. I couldn't breathe. I laid in my mom's room for an hour and a half without being able to breathe. I told my husband, let's try to go upstairs, help me. And they called 911. So, looking at the stairs, can I make it? Can I go up the flight? Slowly,